Watch WWE Presents 10 Most Amazing WWE Wrestling Moments Ever. Number 10. Shawn Michaels vs. Montreal. Shawn Michaels made his return to the scene of the quote-unquote Montreal screwjob crime. Michaels had the in-house crowd in the palm of his hands for nearly 15 minutes, nearly causing the fans in attendance to blow the roof off of the arena with their boos.
Who's your daddy, Montreal?
That night offered another reminder that Michaels could play just about any wrestling role asked of him. Number 9. 1-2-3 Kid upsets Razor Ramon. Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation was a popular saying used on the WWF television when the Kid faced off versus Razor Ramon. And unknown to the majority of viewers tuning in on that night, the Kid seemed to be destined to do the job, as was usually the case for wrestlers of his status at that time.
Razor stays. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. What is this? He got him!
The Kid defeated Razor Ramon after hitting him with a moonsault for what may have been to date the biggest upset in Raw history. Number 8. Brock Lesnar returns. It's difficult to keep such a large secret in this world of Twitter and social media, but the fact that the fans in attendance were expecting Lesnar to return and crush John Cena on the Raw following WrestleMania 28 didn't ruin his comeback appearance. Brock Lesnar, who had left the WWE to eventually become a UFC World Heavyweight Champion, wasted little time before laying Cena out with the F5 to delight the anti-Cena crowd. Number 7. Bret Hart returns. Bret Hart had not stepped foot inside of a WWE ring on camera in 12 years following the Montreal screwjob. Fans did not know what to expect when he appeared on Raw in 2010. Bret Hart almost immediately called out from his former rival Shawn Michaels, and the two stood nose to nose before Michaels began to cut a promo on the Hitman. The two eventually settled their differences once and for all in front of the wrestling world, and ending what had been one of the most famous real-life and in-ring fights in WWE history. Number 6. This Is Your Life. Mankind threw a celebration for the Raw called This Is Your Life, and it went on for a while, but it is one of the most watched segments in the history of the Raw program. It had its funny moments, sure, but both The Rock and Mankind had participated in better promos that went about half the length as This Is Your Life did. Number 5. Shawn Michaels says goodbye. Michaels has stayed true to his word since delivering an emotional farewell as an active wrestler following a loss to The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26. One of the greatest fighters in the WWE history, it seems Michaels is putting a forever end to his wrestling career. Number 4. Beer bath. Steve Austin wanted to ruin a celebration that featured Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, and The Rock. So what did Steve Austin do? He drove a beer truck down the ramp toward the ring, jumped on top of the truck, and then hosed the corporation down with some ice-cold Coors Light. McMahon and the WWE have been trying to recreate this scenario with different characters for well over a decade, although Austin vs. McMahon was something special and unique. Number 3. Pillman's got a gun. Pillman was recovering from a leg injury inside of his home while Austin threatened to attack Pillman during an episode of Raw. Pillman was in the middle of a live interview when out of nowhere he took out a gun and said that he would blast Austin's sorry ass to hell. Steve Austin showed up to the house as promised, broke in through the back door only to meet Pillman pointing the pistol at him. The feed cut out while the two were separated. Number 2. Ric Flair's retirement. Any knowledgeable wrestling fan could have guessed that Ric Flair was not retiring for good when he entered a Raw ring after losing that famous retirement match to Shawn Michaels. That same night there were signals that the end of Ric Flair's active wrestling career will end, and those watching in the arena and on television hung onto every word of the man who was in his prime the dirtiest player